I mean, that's a beautiful point of view,
It is.
really.
It is.
And,
Well, yeah,
but I do have sympathy for lugging all those records around, all those crates, you know.
Yeah. But I mean, also that music is made by musicians is an important point, on instruments.
Right.
And the
not on
vinyl
an
record is an
electronic machine.
instrument.
Yeah.
But just one question, because you made some major met in your lives, and how did it change your point of view on different communities you apparently didn't know about before?
Yeah, it did. It was a total journey in killing any stereotypes that I might have had about people. Because getting to know different communities, and especially in New York City, you know, my co-citizens of New York, it was a fabulous, enriching experience to get to know people from all the different communities that I got to know through hip-hop. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Can't deny, it was really good.
Mhm. It was fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, because it's like having these photographs and being involved like we were brought us into people's homes and to meet their families and that kind of thing, and it was great.
And we still have ongoing relationships with a lot of those people.
Yeah.
You know, and it's wonderful to see how many of them, in fact, have been successful
Yeah.
and are traveling around, and I'm sure you've, you know, met them in Paris. Paris is like major, New York, Paris.
Paris is comfortable because it's a diverse community here too. I feel at home. I don't feel so much at home in monolithic cities where there's
Right.
only one group of people. One of the things I'm doing now, you know, people are always asking me, so what do you listen to now? You know, and I'm not listening to rap. And I say, what do you know, so what's the music? Well, I've started playing Afro-Mexican music. It's called jarocho. And it's a very, very communal music. It's not performed that often. People have fandangos where there's 20 or 30 people or more playing instruments all night long. You know, and I've started playing what's called a jarana and learning to do it. And I'm very happy to live in New York where I can actually do that. I found out about the music in Mexico on a visit once, and I just asked the people there if they knew anybody in New York who played it. And of course they knew everybody in New York who played it, and they get together several times a month, every week, and get together and play, and I've been learning to play with them, and it's been, I'm really enthusiastic about it.
And it's to your point about what instruments are, all the instruments in this, you couldn't do this with a computer. All the instruments are handmade, and one of them is the jawbone of a horse and the teeth.
And dry it out, and teeth rattle.
And another part that's very important are that people dance on boxes, so that the boxes are,
Make
you
a
know, and
resonance.
the jarochas are all different shapes and sizes. They just have they're double stringed, so that's what they have in common, and they're made out of one piece of
Cedar, usually.
cedar, the bowl of
Yeah,
it.
the body of the guitar and the neck and everything is just one piece. And it's carved out, and then they put another piece on top. And,
So it's really
and it
handmade
makes
music like you're talking
It'd
about.
be small, there's different sizes, and even a small one makes a lot of noise. Really resonant. It's a great instrument.
Maybe that'll take over hip-hop. Next in
Doesn't
line.
make that much noise. When you say bring the noise, I think.
But, you know, most kids were
Like
listening
R&B.
to tapes on boom boxes. So
Yeah.
it wasn't vinyl, and it wasn't, digital. But what do you feel about cassette tapes?
Yeah.
Because, that's what,
Yeah,
in
that's
the
what everybody was
exhibit,
using.
boom boxes were, that was
Mhm. The
not
boombox
everybody
era.
had a turntable.
The thing about digital music is that it's not analog, and it's made of numbers, so it's a world that's made of
Yes,
numbers.
yeah.
It doesn't have any overtones, and even cassette tapes have
Yeah.
sound, you know, have
Kind of hissing.
hissing sound.
It's a bit nostalgic
Yeah,
for
but
that
it's
hissing
interesting.
sound.
When we were producing, we didn't have any sampler, so what we tried to buy the best tape deck with a pose on it, and we had a double tape deck, and when we played the sample, and we recorded on another one, and because of a pause button, we were able to make a track with it. But that's why we worked by the beginning of the 80s, because we didn't have any sampler machine to make the music.
Yeah, I mean, I hope somebody is doing their research on all these alternative ways of making music and recording music when you
Yeah.
didn't have
Huh.
what
Yeah.
would have been the ideal machinery to do it.
Mhm.
Because that's like, to me, that's the essence of hip hop, is kind of do it yourself,
Yeah.
making something from nothing.
Yeah.
That's really what got me into being interested in shooting the graffiti, was seeing kids making their own toys in neighborhoods, you know, where there was a lot of trash. I mean, that was what drew me in, and I'm always interested in seeing people improvising in it, in whatever they're doing. What do you think? Maybe we did it. Anybody have anything else?
What's your future projects in life?
I have a lot of projects, but they really don't have anything to do with hip hop.
Okay.
I'm originally from Baltimore, and I've been working in documenting a neighborhood there. And then I was doing a project about recycling in Sao Paulo. So it's like all over the place. But I'm still taking a lot of pictures.
I'm working on a documentary right now. I'm not directing it. I'm helping my friend, the director, whose name is Raquel Cepeda, and she's a Dominican-American woman who grew up partly in New York and partly in the Dominican Republic. And she started making a film about young Latina girls in their teens who are in a suicide prevention program. And what is the theme of the film is, you know, why are they so depressed and what can help them? And the idea is that learning about their culture and their identity can help them more than anything. And we're able to demonstrate this in the film with, you know, DNA tests administered to them and finding out their background, and then a visit to the Dominican Republic, to the plantations, and where the, you know, slaves were working and dying, and to the caves, the Taino caves, where the indigenous people were for centuries, using for ceremonial purposes and drawing pictographs on the walls, and just learning the history and the kind of, you know, turning upside down the history of the Columbus invasion, because it's still, even in the Dominican Republic, he's still honored as the discoverer, whereas he is the forerunner of the massacre. And so it's helpful, we think, to these young women to learn this history from the point of view of the people who were subjected to this, both slavery and genocide.
Props.
And I'm also working on my graffiti archive. Eventually, I'll get it all out on iBooks.
Just another question.
Yeah.
Uh,
This is like the performance. Saxophone.
is that true? There are Style Wars 2 that is coming in?
Style Wars 2.
Yeah.
You know about, there's actually a really interesting film called Style Wars 2.
Yeah.
By Swiss and Moldovan people, or wherever the guy is from anyway, from Eastern Europe and from Switzerland. Have you seen it?
Yeah, some parts, but they don't show everything. I
Yeah,
think.
I liked it. I mean, you know, I had to kind of pass on them using the name. They got me into doing that by showing me a rough cut, which I thought was really good, because it takes, with a lot of humor, it's a tremendous homage to Style Wars. And with a lot of humor, they find contemporary situations similar, but they're very different, but similar in a way, because they're contemporary, and they cast a nice, interesting twist on the original film. It's definitely worth seeing. So I gave it my stamp of approval.
Okay, cool. And the Star Wars 3?
Who's gonna make it?
Who's gonna make it?
Yeah.
No, joking.
People say all the time, when are you gonna make Style Wars, you know, 2 and now 3? And of course I'm not, but, and in order to do it, I think that you would really have to go around the world and find the really different transformations of you know, graffiti and hip hop in different countries, where there's been really interesting, I think, sort of interaction between, you know, parent generation, child generation, between traditional cultures and hip hop coming in. I think, you know, that would be, I don't know much about it, but that would be really fruitful to explore. So if
You
anybody-
should make this movie because it's interesting to you.
Yeah, right.
You know all about your career.
I don't have time. I'm joking. Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.